They want you on the Sean Hannity podcast.
I want to see him in a debate. I told Sean, I said, invite him on your podcast because I want a long format. I want him to understand what he is.
I would love that.
I like the idea, but I think there might be a better person to do the interview with than Sean Hannity. We're going to check in with Hasan Piker. You know, just a lovely guy, the super normal, stable dude who just, influences millions of people with like pretty blatant support, the leftist streamer, of course, for political violence and terrorism. And that's like sounds like hyperbole, right? But actually, like he talks about which designated terrorist groups he supports. You almost, it sounds like when you just describe Hasan Piker's like most unhinged statements, it sounds like you must be caricaturing him or you must be taking him out of context, but we're often not. In fact, they always say that like, oh, you pulled those quotes out of context. But if you go back and watch the context, no, actually, he means what he says in those clips. The context is just him explaining why he thinks that, but it's not like meaningfully different than what he actually said. So America deserved 9/11, Rick Scott should be killed, run the streets with their blood about landlords, calling like simping for Luigi Mangione, and I could go on and on and on. This dude is absolutely crazy, but he's a rising force in American politics. He's a massively influential online voice, and he may be going on Fox News for a debate. We're going to take a look at that. So this is what you're watching, what you're about to see is Hasan Piker reacting to a clip from Fox News where they were discussing Hasan Piker. And this is Hassan watching that clip on his stream. I'm sorry, I know that y'all just like disconnected with Gen Z brain rot reality, but you're just watching Hassan react to them talking about him on Fox News, basically. And an interesting idea was proposed that we're going to get into, and I actually think is something that should happen, and I would love to see. Even just for the content alone would be epic. Let's watch.
What is this? They want you on the Sean Hannity podcast?
You didn't hear it in that soundbite, but he got applause at Yale for his literally he's calling the fall of America. Invited number one and number two, he says it and gets applause.
I want to see him in a debate. I told Sean, I said, invite him on your podcast because I want a long format. I want him to understand what he is.
I would love that.
All right, we already got a lot to unpack here. But what they're referencing is that Hassan just spoke at Yale to like this large crowd and said a bunch of his most radical hot takes and extremist statements, and obviously they applauded. And I don't really have any issue with him speaking at Yale. I mean, he is a very influential political figure. There are people that want to hear from him. I just think obviously they should also have the opposite perspective, or they should even feature them in debates or challenges. And that's apparently what they're considering doing here. Now, in terms of venues, because I will say that Hassan doesn't do very much when it comes to adversarial. He does some adversarial media, like for example, but he tends not to do particularly well in those conversations. Like he kind of struggles to hold his own if he's doing adversarial media with somebody who's smart and educated. So for example, Hassan did an interview with a conservative New York Times columnist, Ross Douthat, who kind of eviscerated him at multiple points and really made him kind of dug beneath the surface of some of the extreme things he says and really showed that there wasn't a lot of there, or that Hassan hadn't fully thought through some of the things that he said that were so controversial. And the opportunity here, I like the idea. I should be extremely clear. I like the idea of Hasan Piker going on Fox News and the clash of ideas and having them argue and debate and all that. I think we need more of that in media because so many of these networks have just turned into echo chambers and partisan slop. But I think there might be a better person to do the interview with than Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity is not the I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. Not the Einstein of our time. Like he engages in political commentary at a very surface level. And I haven't really seen him demonstrate like a thorough knowledge and understanding of the opposite side's perspective. He mostly seems to just shadow box with caricatures of like the most ridiculous versions of Democrats on his show when I watch clips or segments. Maybe he's done some adversarial interviews in the past, but doesn't really come to mind. So I would probably prefer to see somebody else do it and hold Hasan Piker accountable and really press him. But I also think the fact that Hassan is so excited about it and is jumping at the prospect shows you that he doesn't actually fear Sean Hannity at all. He thinks he would be easy to kind of verbally wrangle and best in kind of a battle of the wits. And so the fact that Hassan is so excited at this prospect is probably a good idea or a good inclination that you haven't actually selected the right person to be doing it. But let's keep watching here. Hassan, America deserved 9/11. Piker might actually be the future of the Democratic Party. The Michigan Senate candidate who campaigned with and embraced Piker, Abdul El Sayed, is neck and neck in the odds to win the Democratic nomination, according to our partners at Kalshi. And if he gets the nomination, he'll likely be the favorite to win the general election and ultimately become a U.S. Senator.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Call me crazy, but I do find it a tad concerning to see this kind of far-left sympathy rising in the Democratic Party instead of any semblance of return to normalcy or moderation. But if everything is going to shit, we might as well have fun with it, and that's where Kalshi comes in. You can use my link or just enter the promo code BRADP when you sign up for Kalshi to place a free $25 prediction today.
Love that. Oh my God, I would love that. Oh, hell. Oh, hell yes. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. They're going to be like,
do not come.
And I'm going to be like,
I'm gonna come.
I gotta pause this here and talk about just like how funny this is, like the clipping and the editing and the soundboard. You can't understand these fringe online personalities, whether it's Nick Fuentes or Hasan Piker, or even like a Candace Owens. You can't understand them and their widespread appeal, given how divorced from reality they are when it comes to a lot of facts, how conspiratorial they are, how extreme a lot of their statements are compared to what people actually agree with. You cannot understand it unless you realize and reckon with the way they've been able to adapt kind of the internet culture and meme language and humor to ingratiate people to them personally as like a cool friend, as like we have this parasocial relationship, and he's funny and edgy and he gets the references and the memes, and yeah, okay, oh shoot, now he's talking about people being murdered. Oh, well, if they had just seen that from somebody who they hadn't already built up this parasocial trust from, they'd be like, oh, that's crazy. But now they're like, oh, that's just Hassan. You know, he's edgy. And who knows, maybe we do need to get radical. It's like, this is how this stuff works. And this is why it's so dangerous. But you can't deny and just say, he's just crazy and has no talent or isn't funny at all or anything. I don't understand how anyone follows him. That's like that's cope. And it's copping out of actually reckoning with the reasons people like this or people like Nick Fuentes became popular in the first place. Let's keep going here.
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's lived through communism. He hasn't lived through. I don't even know if he lived through 9/11. How old is he? He looks young.
Yeah, he's around.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God, the glaze. Oh my God.
He definitely
Fox
did
News,
live through 9/11.
I'm blushing. Oh my Lord. I got gray beard hairs. This is the oldest I can possibly look, right? If I shave all of it off, including the mustache, I look like a child. It's horrible. Everyone makes fun of me. So it's pretty funny that she thinks that I'm not 34 years old. She literally said, you look younger than 25. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I just want him to understand the consequences for what he's saying and what would happen if America did fall. Where would he go if America fell?
But the thing is, Ainsley, people like that are uncoachable.
I want to know. I want to know why.
No, that's actually not true. So this is Brian Kilmeade, who's one of the big Fox personalities, and he's saying here that Hassan is undebatable, and I just totally disagree with that. It's exactly these extreme figures that need to be debated and challenged and exposed. You look at Piers Morgan challenging Nick Fuentes on his show, or you look at the people he challenges all the time, and he he actually scores points against them and tarnishes their reputations. And if you just don't engage with these people, because I don't want to platform Hasan Piker, even though his videos get so many millions of views compared to like whatever Fox and Friends, then you're just copying. You're just coping and copping out of it and saying, "Oh no, I'm just going to bury my head in the sand and pretend this isn't happening." But it is, though. And so you either just ignore them and let them exist in an echo chamber where they're never challenged and their audience never sees the limitations of their ideas and arguments and the shallowness of their depth of knowledge highlighted, or you actually engage. And yes, that means debating people who are unpleasant. Like, what is this sounds like, wind this back a few years, you would have heard this from like a MSNBC anchor saying like, these people are not debatable. We can't platform them. I roll my eyes so hard at that every time I give myself a headache, and I really don't care who's saying it or what couch they're sitting on in which of the Manhattan studios.
Brian believes this.
Oh, Brian's like, no. Sean should not debate him. Oh, no. Wait, hold up, Brian. No, Sean will destroy me. He will destroy me in the marketplace of ideas. Let me do it.
I want to know why he believes this, and I want someone who understands these issues, who is brilliant, who can say to him, what you're saying, this is what...
Who's brilliant. And then the person that she's using as a brilliant orator is Sean Hannity.
What will happen if America falls? This is what will happen if America becomes a communist country.
Oh my God, I'm licking my lips, dude. Oh my God. I give Sean Hannity a kissy poo.
Okay. I think that's enough, Hassan, for today. But I'll just say this. I like the idea. If it happens, I will definitely watch. I'll probably react to clips of it. But I'm not sure that Sean Hannity is the best person to tap for this. Maybe Brett Baer or somebody a little more serious would be better. But yeah, we should be. Mainstream outlets should be challenging people and interviewing people that are the opposite and exposing people to these ideas, because it's not going away. At least in the short term, American politics is going to get more radicalized and more divisive and more extreme, not less. And just by pretending it's not happening, or you don't want to talk to those people, or they're undebatable, like that is not going to help anything. In fact, it will only make it worse, because when people exist totally in silos and echo chambers, they bounce off each other and become more and more extreme. And when people interact with people who think differently from them, like this is heavily documented in social science research, they become more moderate and more and more reasonable, right? When you're actually it's when you are become divorced from the actual other side that you develop a caricature of them and you start to think they're more extreme and misunderstand what they actually think and where they're coming from. And that happens more when people isolate and retreat to their corners, and less when people actually exchange head to head in any sort of productive environment. So I welcome this idea. I think it would also make for some interesting content. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe. If you aren't, you hit the like button, and that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk again real soon.